Very good. Okay, folks, welcome to another live round at CCN. And it is not your mama's station, it is your daddy's. And anyways, folks, strap on in. It's going to be the fastest ride on the planet today. And we're going to bring you probably where you've never been before. We're going to share the love today on the planet and bring up the vibration, the energies, and share some truth, which mainstream media will never cover. Yeah, that's why we're over here at this house, because this is where we bring forth the truth on a different level, much quicker, more efficient. Anyways, I have a special guest today, Brother Dean and Brother Darren. I've got the two D's. Anyways, that's pretty neat. You had to tell they're twins.
Pretty close, eh?
Yeah, it's all good. Anyways, I thank both of you guys for showing up on short notice. I know I poked Darren earlier in the week, and I appreciate. I wanted Dean to have a portal to bring forward a little bit of a story and where we're going and what's going on the planet, and getting him caught up. And we're going to share. We're just going to take a nice little ride. So everybody sit on back and enjoy the ride.
No, that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm still getting acclimatized to being a free individual again. So you'll have to bring me up to speed on the audience we're speaking to today and what's going on, and we'll just clear path here and get going.
Yep. Well, our audience is very varied. A lot of light workers on the planet that are over here. As we talk about the mind, body, spirit, we're working on all these different aspects of the crazy train that they've put us on, and we're reconstructing a new paradigm, for lack of a better term. That's what I call it. But it's all about mind, body, spirit. We always want to stay in the heart. That's at least me. I'm sort of a little bit rough around the edges, but that's just who I am, So, I believe that, no man is supposed to be put asunder or joined by being a bond slave. And that's what's happening on this planet. And you know what? I'm here to fix that. I'm here to have the quickening, the awakening, the paradigm shift come forward. And that's why we have these conversations for the wake-up call. We cover everything over here. I had a beautiful guest on Tuesday, Brother Ty Bollinger, Mr. Alternative Cancer himself, got beautiful informations, links. He's all over the planet. He even got on Fox News, of all places, and he was talking about cannabis. Like, he couldn't believe they didn't cut the damn tape. They actually let it air. So that was pretty interesting. Anyways, but we cover every aspect. Ty does excellent work over there at his house, covering all these different modalities, alternatives, as well as I do. And this is what, if we don't get the body right, then the mind's not going to come online. So that's why we talk about, it's ironic, Dean. I was listening to high frequency radio this morning. I was listening to Brother Jonah, and everybody's bringing forward the mind, body, spirit paradigm now. They're not just talking about getting off the plantation. They're talking about everything, how it intrinsically ties in together so that we can move forward, because you can't leave any parts of the mind, body, spirit out, because if you leave one peg of the stool out, it's going to fall over. So we got to cover all this stuff. Anyways, with that being said, I thank Brother Darren for coming in. I'm going to wind you up. Anyways, let's reverse in time a little bit. I've been following you. You and I have been on each other's Skype probably for a couple of years. We just never got time to communicate because you were so darn busy. Anyways, you were bringing forward information on the planet about the use of fruct and these different things, sharing the love of the planet. And they had to make, I guess, how do you put it? A victim out of you. And I hate to use that word victim, but they're looking for a sacrificial lamb. So they figure if they take the top one off the peg, well, all it did was create blowback. While you're getting stuck inside, just created the movement to expand. For those that weren't in fear mode, it actually created an alignment on the planet.
Imagine how happy I was while I was being tortured to find out that not only did it stifle the movement, but it seemed to rally people, and everybody else just got involved and figured, well, you know what, if they can do this to him, they can do this to a guy who's had videos on the internet for 3 years professing do no harm, be peaceful, don't even protest.
Right.
We have this opportunity for freedom and learning our rights and doing everything peacefully, and we can make a better world. And then you get a bunch of police agents march into my conference where I'm teaching this and arrest me, literally almost at gunpoint in front of everybody at the conference, refusing to identify themselves and just dragging me out of there, and bang, I was gone for 16 months. And despite all that, people figured, okay, well, if they're going to do that to him, they're going to do it to any of us. So it's either time to, get off the fence and start getting involved here, or, we don't have anybody to blame but ourselves when we don't fix this place and things just get worse.
And that's the whole point, Dean. And we've been covering that over the last 2-3 years. And I always say taking a neutral position is not a viable option, because to do nothing and it's just going to get worse. Well, let's take a look at what's going on the planet. They're pushing extra hard. Down here in the USA Inc., I guess they are trying to put some legislation forward so that they can make everybody a citizen slave on the plantation, making it mandatory for everybody to vote. Kiss my ass. That's what I say.
Well, it's amusing because about a couple of months before all this happened, I was over at my grandparents, and my grandparents know a little bit about what's going on. They're old. My grandfather just turned 93 the other day, and I was over there visiting with now that I got out. Thank God he's still alive when I got out. I was very happy about that. But and they used to say to me, you know what, son, we lived in Ireland during the Blitz. We lived back then. We've had family members that were political, dissenters back in Ireland in the day. And those people used to get black bagged. We had family members that were never seen ever again. Jeez. And they were said, so we understand what you're trying to do, and we know that you're trying to help people and you're trying to be outspoken against the government and whatnot. But we're just concerned they're going to come and black bag you. And I laughed. I said, no, come on. This is 2013. That kind of stuff doesn't happen today. There's too many
people. Yeah, right.
And sure as hell, 2 months after that, I'm getting literally black bagged at one of my own conferences and disappeared for 16 months, which I thought was kind of amusing and I guess ironic. But yeah, so they had their concerns about that. And the only thing I had to say about that is, they always used to tell me, well, son, like this is a pretty good country. This is a pretty good country. We're pretty free here. But the fact that they had to tell me that they were concerned I might get black bagged for standing up for my rights,
right?
They know that no, this isn't really a free country. Everybody wants to believe it is. They really, really want to believe this is a free place. And man, we got all these rights and everything's great and this government would never violate them. But they know deep down that that's not the case, because how many people have said, man, if you keep talking like that, you're going to disappear. Well, then that that nothing is right. You know that this isn't a free country. You know they're not respecting our rights just because you would actually say you might get disappeared for money.
Right.
Everybody knows.
Anyways, Dean, what begot you to step into this realm to because I know everybody's I don't do the sovereign movement. I don't do the patriot thing. I'm all about being the man. See, and this is what we've been teaching over at my house. It's always good to be the man. Because, see, they want to give you titles. They want to use words. They use their special wordsmithing in the courts. They want to call you a Mr., which is a subservient moniker when they use Mr., Mrs., Ms. These are all because they're administrating. The ministers are administrating the estate for the subservient slaves on the plantation, and these monikers, these titles. So, speaking of title, we'll talk about title. As we go down this road, we're going to talk about titles in a whole different way, and this is going to be exciting. But anyways, what brought you to even integrate into wanting to change this? Because I knew I just didn't want to leave this planet the way I found it for my daughter. So I said, if I don't do something, nobody else will. So I stepped in and I started my blog talk radio shows and shared the love with that. And anyways, I said, there's got, to lay down and do nothing, like I say, is not a viable option. It's like accepting your defeat before you even start. And most people are unaware that they're in the deep end of the pool. That's why they're doing forced shots and force this and force that. Well, guess what? They can get away with this crap because you haven't bucked up. You haven't decided to change your status or learn anything. So I call them Caesar. You're sitting at Caesar's buffet table, and you don't like it when you throw meatballs, because if you're part of the body politic, you're part of their construct, and you are merely getting benefits and privileges, and you don't have the right to complain about crap. Even if you do, they're not going to hear you. They're going to call you a belligerent, a deceive, a child, an imbecile, because that's the way you're acting. Go figure. All court cases, you file complaints. Well, only slaves complain. Live men claim.
They file claims.
That's 2 years.
Yep. Well, oh boy, where to go with all that? Yeah, you're talking about man's innate desire to be stewards and to leave things in better shape than when they found them. That's what most of us are, I think, ultimately we're trying to achieve here. And I think that's what gets most of us started on this path in the first place. But And actually, it's amusing because for people that don't know, Darren is my actual brother. So
Okay.
yeah, not just the title of Brother Darren and Brother Dean, but yeah, we're actual brothers. So
Right, right. I forgot to say it because I call everybody brother. We're all brothers from another mother, so it works for me.
But this all started a number of years ago when I hadn't even heard of any of this kind of stuff. And I first got started in construction. At the same time Darren got started in construction. We both started construction companies, got involved in building, and within short order, we had our first encounters with Canada Revenue Agency, who started coming after us almost immediately. And knowing nothing, we fought that battle for 3 or 4 years, being threatened and having bank accounts seized and liened. We even had people phoning our grandparents and threatening them and saying your grandsons are gonna, they're gonna go to jail if they don't file. And so they caused a lot of problems in our lives.
Yeah.
And it was still, and as you know, Darren's not exactly a very computer literate individual. We'll say 14 years ago, I got my first computer when I got my house, to say 15 years ago now, and got on the internet there, and just one day got doing some research into Canada Revenue Agency, and I wanted to know how they got the power that they had, because for the record, I'm now 19 years old. I haven't filed income taxes this is the 19th anniversary. Next year will be the 20th year, I think, that I haven't filed.
Yep.
I've never been in income tax court yet, and I really don't think I'm ever going to wind up there. My problems are of another nature. But so I just got looking around on the internet, which was still relatively kind of like not a very easy thing to navigate back then. And I think I came across a website for my first time out, and I think it was even DTax Canada and Eldon Warman's old site from 15 years ago. And that was my first introduction to the birth certificate and what they called the straw man back then.
Yeah.
And so then it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and it was kind of always a bit of a part-time thing that when I had time, I would research into it online and try to discover new things and find other people out there that were even aware of this, which back then was nobody. And I mean nobody. And I even had to drive to Toronto about 12, 13 years ago. I think I went to go meet Vic Beck 13 years ago at one of his seminars in Toronto, because we hadn't even heard of anybody else in Canada that even knew what the hell we were talking about. So we drove 26 hours away from here to go meet somebody that finally, that actually knew something about what was going on, which fortunately times have changed a lot. But so it was a bit of a battle for a few years. And I'd say it only got started getting serious about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, when, we were nowhere near the level where we are now as well, but this kind of started to become a full-time thing. And I was back here in Manitoba, and we want to start teaching people their rights and their freedoms, because we started to realize that, everybody needs to be made aware of this kind of stuff. And we would try talking with people wherever we went, and we'd bring up, the birth certificate and how, a man doesn't need a driver's license. It's a common law of right. We don't need this. We don't need to pay income taxes. And still, people, just the general public, would get really angry, and they'd be like, well, if you don't want a driver's license, get off our roads. And if you don't want to pay income taxes, stop using our hospitals and all this other kind of, they get mad. Like they really, really started defending the state right away. And it took us a while to figure out, why people get so angry about this stuff. But so fortunately, I think my roller coaster started when I started teaching little mini conferences we had meetings at my office in Winnipeg about 5 years ago, and we just had about 5-10 people show up just so I could start teaching a few people about this. And one of the older gentlemen that showed up there decided to ask me if he could record it and go home and watch it later, because he wanted to watch the me drawing on the board over again. He was having trouble hearing and understanding some of the concepts and whatnot, and he was having problems with CRA. So he recorded it with his little home camera, and about a week later, he asked me if it was okay if he put it on the internet, on YouTube. I said, well, yeah, go ahead. And I said, go ahead, for the 5 people that are going to watch that and actually care. Well, yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong about that. So next thing you know, there's 50,000, 100,000, 250,000 views on some of these videos, and YouTube is deleting the numbers of people that are watching the videos, and they're going all over the place. And I'm being contacted, and people want me to start coming out to their city and teaching seminars and conferences of what I know, which is, I don't even know, people keep wanting to call me a guru and an expert, and there's other people out there that know way more than me, but I guess I'm just outspoken enough that, I'm not afraid to go and stand up in front of a group and teach people without fear of repercussion, get the video out there. I'm not afraid to be somebody that stands up publicly to what's going on. I have no fear for my own safety or my life. I figure if I'm going to be around on this earth until I'm going to die one day anyways, And before I die, I'm going to do something right. I'm going to try to fix this place around here. So, and it's cost me a lot. But so we're heavily involved in the freedom movement. I call it the truth movement now. Some people call it the three-man movement. My favorite term is the truth movement because it's just the truth. These people hate the truth so much that they are willing to disappear you for years at a time, to shut you up. They will go after your family, they'll go after your friends, they will threaten people, they will do everything they can. They fear the truth so bad. And that's, the age-old maxim there that, one small candle flame will light up an entire dark room. They fear just the smallest spark of truth so much that they do everything they can to extinguish it, because even the smallest amount exposes all their bullshit. And that's all it is complete bullshit. It's an illusion. The whole friggin' thing is nothing but a giant illusion. We're trying to expose now to bury your freedom, to bury your rights, and to bury your desire to want to be free even, and just railroad you and run you over and make things sound like it's such an insurmountable goal to achieve that's not even worth striving for. Just play ball, just pay your fines, just get your licenses, just do all this crap that no one should ever have to do, and you know what, we'll leave you alone. And to me, life is about choice, and being a member of a state or a society or a democratic society or any other private organization is a choice. And the minute they take that choice away from you by way of fear and oppression and coming at them and threats and deceit, I just won't tolerate that. I won't stand for it. So that's my story in a nutshell. It's cost me a lot. It's cost me, the last 16 months of my life. It's cost me time away from my career that I could have had. It's cost me personal relationships while I was in jail that I was not willing to spend. So it cost me things now that I was not willing to give up for this movement. But going back now, I would do it all over again, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you lose. Doing right is doing right. So add to that all you want. Darren can add to that.
All right, I was muted. Now I'm unmuted. Anyways, well, yeah, let me share a little bit. Then I'll let Darren, because I've been on this path for my entire life. Maybe I'll give a little bit of overview on me. I knew there was something amiss. I did time in the military-industrial complex. I did time in the medical-industrial complex. I was in that at the same time, by the way. So, and I knew something was wrong. I knew something was amiss. I understood about nutrition and this and that. And then I started digging into the IRS stuff, just like, I said, they say taxes are voluntary. Erwin Schiff wrote a book back in the 80s. They disappeared his ass, and because he caused a lot of headaches, because there is no law that he's right. But by the way, the chicanery and the trickery with the IRS is paramount to none, because what they do is they classify everybody under a tax class 2 franchisee. The minute they fill out their first 1040, they actually go into the computer and tweak it to make you, but you started out now in the right spot. You were actually under a state and gift tax, which is W-2s, W-4s, and 1099s are all state and gift tax forms. However, when you fill out that W-4 and you ask for a deduction instead of the exemption, you just show you don't know who you are, because slaves ask for deductions. The man gets exempted. So then they complete the circuit. When they fill out the first 1040, they fill the W-4 out wrong, and then they give them confirmation by filling out the codicil called the 1040, and then they give over their res, their energy, and then that's what steps everybody into a tax class 2, franchisee, corporate income tax. And once you're in, it's hard for you to get out because you already volunteered in. However, with that being said, Dean, I got stuff over at my house on the education page. The Internal Revenue Code in its entirety was repealed in 1939. I have the freaking real proof document. Let's see what else. The IRS became a corporation in 1933 in Delaware. I have those original those documents, and I show this stuff, and people just look at me like I'm nuts. Well, I'm not. Anyways, so I've done my share of beating the brakes off the IRS and going to war. Now I don't have to go to war because I can fix this because I have another solution. I believe that's why I talk about solutions. So we've been stuck in the problem, and I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to go to war, but I'm going to fix my status, and we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But here's another interesting tidbit that most people don't know. People that are going up to these tax courts and getting thrown in jail, by the way, you're not under 26 USC. They got you under 27 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. You're a drug runner or a booze runner. and I got proof of this because my friend got her IMF, the internet, her individual master file, and it showed that she was a drug runner. She brought those documents to court, and the judge threw the whole damn case out because he didn't want this exposed to the masses.
Not only that, but they'll have you located in Puerto Rico or some other South American country. They will not show you being located in the mainland United States. They had to make you a foreigner to take away all your rights.
But speaking of foreigner, and the same thing happens on the birth certificate. They actually put you in a foreign citizen trust. I have a 4-page document that explains it so succinctly that anybody can get it, and I posted that far and wide. So, anyways, we had to go through all these portals to find out where all the tricks were because, they're not getting off the dime to tell us anything. But, when you figure it out, they get really nervous. I don't really give a shit because this has gone worldwide. Australia, UK, New Zealand, all my brothers and sisters in IMF-run countries have the right to know that you don't have to be a slave if you don't want to. But you have to make the decision, and you got to dig into your own choices. Like you say, free will. Life is all about free will. Well, if you like being at the King's buffet table, and you got to quit bitching about being there because you haven't done anything to change your status to fix and correct the problem.
Yeah, and my big problem with all of this is after the amount of years I've spent on this now, and I know other people who have spent a lot more time on this than me, it shouldn't be this complicated to be free. And that's my whole problem with this. And not many people out there, 90% of people or more, would never, ever go through all the learning required to find out what's going on, just to then to try to extricate from the system. So that's not the way this should be working. Freedom should not be something you have to work that hard for to extricate yourself from something when this is all done in fraud in the first place.
Right.
I'm tired of doing all the research. I'm tired of doing all the definitions. I'm tired of trying to find out where they're screwing us. And I'm just saying, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Bye. I don't care about your puke anymore. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not doing any more definitions. I'm not looking up any more laws. I'm not doing fucking anything because to be free, all you should have to do is say, I'm free. I'm out. I want nothing to do with people. I'm done.
Yep. Here's a title. Let's retire the title. Go figure, retire. Brother Kurt and I had a nice conversation this morning, but I can't really discuss the particulars. But he's retiring the title. I mean, bro, you can't make this stuff up. It's really that simple, and it should be that simple. And you should be able to come back home, invoice, and be acknowledged that you are no longer, that title is no longer, once it's in your hands. We talked about titles earlier before we got on the show. They're holding the title. They've got the title. And see, they figured that you didn't mind because you didn't do anything to bring it forward to, perfect your interest in the title. Because but you're right. This nefarious game started when Mama gave you over as the informant. Did they tell her on the birthing table that she's in a state of emergency and that she's giving over her child to the state so they can create a new estate? No. See, there's no full disclosure, just like when you get a driver's license, get a social security number and all this other crap. That, you know what, we got 5 generations of stuck on stupid who have been binded up and ducked their heads and haven't looked up, and sort of like the chemtrails. They don't even know how to look up and see those these days. Here we go. Yeah, this is this cycle. So it's entrenched. It's ingrained. Hell, there's nothing new in Rome, bro. This shit's been going on for 2,000 years. You're civilly dead.
I like the word retire there because nothing could be more accurate. Because what happens when you work for a corporation your whole life and then you've decided you've had enough and you want done, you're out. People retire. They retire. I'm done. Bye-bye. See you later. I want nothing to do with this anymore. People either resign from whatever position they have at a corporation or they retire.
Yeah.
So it should be that simple. I don't need to learn all the rules and regulations. I should just be able to say, I'm out. Bye. See you later.
You're gonna love Brother Kurt, because he comes from the same paradigm as you and I do. This is a simple thing. I'm not jumping through all these damn hoops. That's not necessary. It's really not. See, how much power are you going to give over by doing all these freaking documents? See, I see all this stuff going on, and there's some neat stuff and nuances for those that want to operate in the commercial side of the game and play the ball game. You know what? I don't have time for that monkey business.
I got some real life going on right now, and I'm a little bit too busy trying to figure out their lobster trap, so I don't care anymore. And it should. So when you want out, you want out. It's it. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with your system anymore. I don't care what kind of benefits you people are offering me. There is no benefits. The whole thing is a scam from the get-go, just to keep you the circular logic that never ends. Argue, circle, 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 circle. The entire thing is a hamster wheel. It just drives you fucking nuts after a while. Trust me.
Yep.
And eventually you're just going to want out, and so it's over. The whole franchise scam, everything about it, the trust law, everything. I just don't care anymore. There's nothing they have to offer me that I even care about. Just freedom handles everything. When I've got the freedom to go and grow my own food, start my own business, work, build whatever I want to, do whatever I want to, there's nothing in their system that we need.
Right.
Here is so. We've been through everything. We've been through from when this started years ago with the straw man argument to now defining what kind of trusts are going on and what this is and what that is and all this, and thinking we're going to figure this system out. And we're going to be able to navigate it and benefit from it ourselves.
Right.
You never will. That is the scam. It's like the lottery. Everybody buys a lottery ticket thinking that one day they're going to win.
Yep.
And then they'll retire and they'll be rich. No, lottery is a scam, and this system is a scam into making you believe that at some point you're going to get all these entitlements and benefits you deserve and access to money and all this other shit. No, it's shit. The entire system exists to benefit the people that created it for their benefit, not yours.
Right. And that they're controlling the flow on multiple levels with this game. And you know what? So I got to wait for permission for this person to say this, that. No, I'm just, like I say, I'm going to cut the Gordian knot and be done with it. Because you know what? My, life's too short. I want to go live life on purpose. I want to do something else for the rest of my life. I don't want to be talking to these audiences for the rest of my life. This is not what I was put on this planet to do. I want my life back. But for now, I'm doing what I need to do to get the wake-up call going. But there's going to come a point in time, Peter's just going to go do something else for the rest of his life. My medical capacities are stellar, brother. I know how to do shit that I can go teach the medical community how to get their minds right and fix it, because the medical community is so compartmentalized, and that they're grasping onto that dictate, the control construct with the chemicals and all this other stuff, and they're trying to protect their jobs. But the problem is you're killing your brothers and sisters across the planet with those chemicals, and it's just you know what? Where's your soul? Where is they sold their freaking soul for lousy lucre.
And isn't it a little bit more rewarding to teach people how to heal themselves naturally and do some good things on this planet instead of spending 15 years trying to figure out how to leave the front door of your house without being beaten because you don't have a license to leave the house? Like, it's preposterous what we have to go through and the distractions and the roadblocks they put in front of us. So I witnessed it all firsthand, and I, especially after this last 16 months in court, witnessing the nonsense that goes in the court, that goes on there. I've been beaten and dragged out of the courtroom just for trying to speak and open my mouth and claim my rights and correct the record as to who I am. I've had my microphone turned off so that I can't speak in the court I don't show up in the court transcript, and the judge actually instructed the clerk to turn my microphone off. And then afterwards says, well, okay, good, we can't hear him. Well, as long as he can hear us, I don't care. That's all I need. So this is what they consider to be courts as well. When you do finally figure it out, they just do whatever they want in the courtroom. They'll beat you. They'll drag you out of the courtroom. They'll shut off your microphone so you can't speak, so they can make the record show anything they want it to show. They will refuse to recognize you as a flesh and blood man, no matter what you say or do in that courtroom. You'll get the transcript back, and it clearly shows you as being recognized as an artificial person again.
Right. Well, I'm going to turn you on to Brother Johnny. He's out of Canada too. They took his 4 pieces of property, his 4 children. He got them back in 4 months. And he stayed as a man in the right capacity, didn't become a belligerent. He didn't file crap into their case. He started his own case. See, because everybody talks about common law. The common law to you is totally different than their common law. And that's what people get confused in the mind on. And Johnny has covered that. He teaches this in class, and he's shut down shit across the planet.
I get so many people contacting me trying to say, oh, well, you're wrong. The common law is just a case law. It's just case law. No, that's what the Law Society has done, where they've hijacked what they're claiming is common law now, and they've twisted it for their own ends and said, oh, no, the common law is just established case law. So they're insinuating that all they have to do is, through a series of case law, alter the decisions of the courts over 100 years, and they can therefore change what the common law actually is, which is preposterous and insane to insinuate it by having a chain of case law that changes the meaning of words and laws. You can actually alter what natural law is. Like, you could eventually bend the law so that gravity will cease to exist if you have enough court hearings where you have a judge finally make a ruling that yes, gravity doesn't exist because of established case law. It's to think that they can do away with that stuff. Case law, what the common law is, and I've even started calling it natural law, just to be more precise, is literally just just natural law. It's the laws that are common to every man, right? And when you figure out that the birth certificate identity, we're just calling it a character now. I don't care what it is. It's a character.
Yep.
It's an artificial person. It's a character. Beyond that, I no longer give a shit what it is. It's a
Yep.
character. It has certain attributes and properties that are specific to it, that when you're acting in that capacity, those properties and attributes apply to you, which means you're no longer a man anymore, no different than an actor in a movie.
Yes.
Is the role he's playing in the movie, right?
Yep.
So I use this example, even when I was teaching people in jail their rights, I said, well, when they're getting you to act as one of these characters, you no longer have the properties and the attributes of a man. You have the properties and the attributes or characteristics of the role you're playing. Like, okay, like I was using Dirty Harry in the jail there, because we had some older people in there. So, you know, Clint Eastwood, when he plays Dirty Harry,
Made my day.
Harry, he has different qualities and attributes and characteristics. Right? So they don't see the Clint Eastwood behind the role, behind the mask, or you know, and that's how they can create these supernatural laws now. Like for instance, Lord of the Rings, right? Like if you're playing the character of Legolas, who has supernatural abilities, that's something that a man doesn't have. That's properties and attributes, the characteristics of the role he's playing. That doesn't apply to the man in real life. So natural law or common law does away with all that and says, no, we don't care what role you're playing. We don't care what characteristics and attributes you're playing in that role. The common law applies to the actor, right? So I don't care if your movie role is Iron Man and you're wearing a little plastic suit that, according to the movie script, says makes you invincible. If somebody was to shoot Robert Downey Jr. with a real gun while he's wearing his plastic outfit on the movie set, he would die, whether he's Iron Man in a movie or not. Okay? The common law penetrates right through the bullshit Hollywood nonsense. The fake properties, the fake attributes apply to the character. Natural law penetrates right through that, just like a bullet.
Yep.
And gets to the heart of the matter. And then all that shit don't apply no more. It means fucking nothing.
Right.
I don't care what kind of an actor statute you write that says you're invincible and you will never die.
Right.
Natural law, the common law says, no, you're not invincible. And I can tell you right now, you are going to fucking die one day. So I don't care what immortality act you pass.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to be characters in the play. All the world's a stage, and they never expect you to wake up to come out of your actor status. You're going to love Kurt. I'm going to turn you on to Kurt. I'm telling you, brother, you guys are going to mesh so good because he's in the same mindset. And he said, I ain't playing this game no more. Matter of fact, he's almost done with the game in its entirety. And that's why I'm going to turn you on to him, because we ain't doing, I don't think I'm going to be jumping through a bunch of hoops. I'm just going to pull the plug, make sure that I'm the title holder, and nobody can cut to the front of the line on me. And I want to go up the chain of command. I'm going to tell them, hey, let's share the love and acknowledge the fact that I've come home back from the dead, and let's settle this. Let's settle the account and put this thing to bed, because this issue is hereby resolved. Go figure. They call you an issue when you're born and brought into the world with that birth certificate.
Well, that's the month leading up to my bail hearing there. Darren and I were talking about it on the phone, and that's exactly what we came to the conclusion of. We're like, well, yeah, this is a game. We're tired of the game. I just want to be in real life. So we started, okay, you know what? I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing the game. This shit just got real. This is real life.
Yep.
I don't acknowledge any of your crap anymore. And so I put my notice into the courts that I read under the record at my next hearing, and that's why I'm out, is I basically just said, I'm not playing your game no more. I'm done. This is real life. You are real people, and you are really harming a real man in real life.
Yep.
This is natural law. This is not fake bullets that make little bang noises on a movie set. This isn't Iron Man flying around with his supernatural abilities. This is real life, and you are really harming a real man. And I will not act for one of your characters. I made that very clear. I will not act for one of your characters.
Is that?
It was after that the judge in the matter, the justice, who's the one who seized the matter for my trial and everything, basically started saying in the courtroom, okay, well, then let me ask you a question as a man. Yeah, okay, well, Dean, can I ask you something, man to man?
Yep.
Which was the first that I was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. I haven't heard that yet. So it's going to be an interesting thing now. But that's
I'm also going to turn you on to Brother Johnny. He'll fast track you because I got to give Johnny kudos because I don't know anybody on the planet. Once the DCF gets their paws on your children, that's for hypothecation events, and he was able to turn that whole upside down train. He was on my blog talk show with me for a year, but he was going through this when they stole his 4 kids under the trumped up charges. He had an empty gun in the freezer and this other stuff. It's because he was bitching because he told them my kids aren't getting the shots. They eating your sorry ass lunches, the sorry milk, the poisons, and whatever. And so they wanted to make a victim out of him too. Well, they took his 4 kids, yeah, and his 4. It is, huh?
In the movie script that they wrote for the characters, you're supposed to take your kids for your shots. That's the way the movie script is written.
Yep. Yeah.
So when you're characters and you're in their world, their realm, their abstract construct, which is the definition of realm, and they only see the characters of the movie. They can't see the actors themselves. The movie script, the acts and statutes say that all characters get vaccinations.
Yep.
So when you act out of script, out of character, and you don't act the way you're supposed to in the script that they've written,
right,
and they will arrest you, and they'll take your kids, and they will make sure that the script is fulfilled.
But the upside is Johnny got to learn how to man up in a whole different way. It took 4 months. But I'll tell you what, the beauty of it is he turned their world upside down because he stayed not in the character, but in the man capacity. He didn't file anything to the case. And he had the first monkey up on the stage, on the stand, and then he got to ask her questions. And they were trying to shake him up a little bit and saying, well, we got 21 more people right behind. He says, bring them all. I didn't get a good night's sleep last night, but I'll be fresh tomorrow. And he turned the whole game upside down. They just said, let's give them their kids back. And they're not kids, they're property. See, that's the problem. Look at the words, child, children, killed. That's why they can do these dictates, because under parents patrie, you've given up your property and it's sitting over at the estate. It's considered abandoned.
Son and daughter is always a good one too. That is not a child. That is my flesh and blood son or daughter, and that was a gift from God. Who are you to take away my son or daughter?
Yep. But so I'm going to turn you on to Brother Johnny. He's on the fastest track. I don't know anybody on the planet who got their property back. His 4 pieces of property. Because most people, I know, Carl Lenz and some others. I mean, he spent 8 years before and Johnny did what Carl did, and it took him 8 years. When Johnny did what he needed to do in 4 months. So, anyways, they always ask him for permission now if the kids his property can go on a field trip or whatever, and they always recognize him as the man now. See, because they know he knows who the hell he is, and so they go for the low-lying fruit. They don't go for the people who know how to stand in the proper capacity, and that's all we're trying to share with the masses. You've got to take off that damn character and be the man or be the woman.
Yeah. Well, in late August of 2014, I was at pretrial hearings in Selkirk, Manitoba, and I was claimed as property. I had somebody that showed up at the courthouse to claim me as their property, and that certainly caused a bit of issues because for the next 5 days, the computer showed me as not in custody anymore, and the RCMP took me back to Brandon Correctional with no chains on, no shackles, no anything, even though I'm normally chained up like a dog, wrist, ankles, and everything anytime I leave that jail. They threw me back in jail for 5 days, but the computer records show me as not being in custody. They brought me back on September 4th to Selkirk, Manitoba again for a second pretrial hearing. Didn't have any handcuffs or anything on me, just opened up the door and they pushed me in and said, here, you're in court kind of thing, but they had a SWAT team waiting out the front door to make sure I didn't leave. So even though I was free, and I said, when the hearing started, I said, can I ask you a question? I said, why is there a SWAT team out in the front hallway? And the judge tried to say, oh, well, there's lots of police always around the courthouse, and we have court days and everything else. No, it's a small courthouse. I was the only matter before the court that day. So they knew I was free. They knew I could just leave of my own free will and not participate in there because I wasn't their property anymore. So what they did instead was they intimidated, they basically were waiting for me to walk out the door so they could rearrest me. But while I was at the courthouse in Selkirk, Manitoba on September 4th, 2014, the computers also show me as being in a second courtroom in Winnipeg, Manitoba before a different judge who was issuing a new warrant for my arrest.
Wow.
So that's how crooked this stuff is for people to think that these courts at some level are going to honor and respect your rights. No, the whole thing is a complete sham. And on September 4th of 2014, I was in 2 different cities, in 2 different courtrooms. One was a pretrial hearing. The other one was an unknown hearing where a second warrant was issued for my arrest. which they then rearrested me at the end of of that court date, and it took me back to Brandon Correctional and showed me as being back in custody again.
Jeez, talk about being in two places at once, and what a scam that is. See, people they normally never hear this type of stuff, Dean, so I'm glad you're bringing it out on how corrupt the system is. It's a dead letter deal. Go figure, they're using your letter, and so guess what? Because you're an unmarked vessel, they get to plunder your citizenship under letters of marque and reprisal, and most people don't have a clue what I just said here, but you know what? That's why, you know what, Dean, we're not going to fight no more. We're not going to play no more. We're just going home. We're going to pull the punch card, I call it. Hey, everybody's got to pull their brick out of the wall, but most people aren't ready. Most people need a daddy. Most people don't want to be responsible.
You know what? The whole point of this is yeah, we can't all become Perry Mason. We can't, every single one of us cannot know every facet of this law system just to be free, which is why I think it's just why I'm tired of it and I'm done. It's nonsense. I'm not even going to bother with it all anymore. You know what? I don't need to know how to write the program that created this Zoom meeting window on the computer just to then use this window. I mean, people like Darren would be screwed right off the hook. I mean, that's just happen. These things are there for us to use, right? That's all it is. I just want to use these things. I don't want to have to understand how like Skype. I like to Skype people all the time. I don't care what the source code for Skype is. I don't care how to write the program. I barely even know how to use most of the functions on the program. It's just a Skype program. I want to be able to use it. We can't all become computer programmers.
Right.
And that's why they got us thinking that unless we study and learn for 20 years and know how to argue in a courtroom, we can't be free. And I think that's just preposterous and it's nonsense. Right.
Well, you know, first of all, we don't belong in those dead man courts in the first place, and that's why I'm going to help you fix some things, brother. Anyways, Darren, I'm sorry. We've sort of left you back in the wings here. It's been Dean and Peter blathering on. Anyways, brother Darren, he's with us today. Share any feedback to share with us?
Oh, absolutely. You know, a lot of people, they have a hard time trying to visualize or conceptualize the rigors, the pressures, all the typical stuff that people, unless you're bitten this system, they don't know. Now, when you're sucked into it, and you start navigating, you're taking some bumps, you're taking some bruises, you know, this is all that, but unless you're in the game, unless you're standing in front of that magistrate, it's a whole other world. And you know, because Dean and I have been doing this for so long without each other supporting ourselves, you know, virtually, I wouldn't say hourly, but you know, it sure has been a struggle without the two of us. I don't know how, or, you know, this wouldn't have been possible. It just seemed like it was such a daunting task. To this day, we're still ridiculed. We're still, you know, people are throwing stones. You know, but we understand where it's coming from. And like you say, Peter, we got to look past that. And, you know, what we do, the frustration and the anger, well, because there is that moment of reality when you can't believe this is going on. And when you get past that, and then you want change, and then you start looking for those doors, and that's when your life will change. But unless you're being bitten, you're not looking for a remedy.
Right.
No, where now all those bites coming from between CRA and the pharmaceutical industry and the oil and the gas, man is being bitten by 1,000 water moccasins all at the same time, and you almost don't know where to start. And thank goodness, Peter, for you and your friends and your brothers out there that have really helped, and all the countless others with this consciousness and bringing this information forward. And like you say, this isn't about ego. This has just been a journey that we've all taken individually, and now we're starting to come together as a like-minded collective. And wow, look at the difference now.
Yep. Well, here's something that let me share. You know, I've been on this track for about many years, but you know, it's ironic. Let's take a look around and see who's still standing. 3 years, because people throw dirt balls at me all the time, and you know what? That's great, because you know what? They gave me their power, because I live square between those two ears of theirs. So I'm glad that they've given me that much power to when they start throwing stones at me and criticizing. Well, for all you armchair quarterbacks, you sit on your ass and do nothing. You have no right of expectation for anything, because guess what? You're doing nothing. So those that castigate and cast stones of dispersion and show contempt prior to investigation, they deserve what they got coming, because they got the big shit sandwich coming without the onions.
Oh, it's hilarious the amount of detractors that are out there. The people that there's two especially I've noticed there on YouTube. I was warned about when I got out that they seem to make it their life mission now to discredit me in some way. Like there's something needs to be discredited, and apparently, I'm only in this for the money. I just want to fleece people out of $5. Except that I've had to destroy my construction company in my life in order to bring people to truth when I could have made a decent living and just been one of those guys out there that makes really good money and just didn't care about what's going on this planet. But
Right.
at the end of the day, why we're trying to get to where we're going with the truth movement is that we want to be free to do good things on this planet, right? I want to grow good, healthy food. I want to stop all the pollution that's going on. I want to stop corporations from raping the land and destroying the environment. I want to do good things, and we can't because we've been shackled by this system of slavery that's put in place that's now showing up and arresting people in the United States just for growing organic food in their own yard.
Yep.
Like, preposterous what's going on. And that's why this all needs to stop, is we got a lot of people that want to do a lot of good things, and we can't, because this entire system is designed to protect these monopolies, these corporate monopolies that just want to steal all the resources and pollute and anything for a quick buck, for profit, right? The profit margin, the bottom line. And that's not the way most people want to live, but it's the only thing really available to us right now. And so we just want to create something new. I think as people, as men and women, people with morals and a conscience that's intact, we can build something way better than what exists on this planet. And the powers that were, the people that used to run everything, are trying to maintain control of the system they built for their own profit and their own benefit. And we're not. We don't really we don't buy into it anymore. We know what's going on now. We've got it figured out. The alternative media has grown, thank God, like I say, and they can't really shut it down now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But you're right when you say people can't just sit at home and lean on their armchair anymore and just wait for guys like us to fix the world. Everybody's got to be part of the solution and get involved. And that's I just come up with this divestment. Oh, go ahead, Darren.
I was just, keep in mind when we say we're creating the new, how much of creating the new is actually rediscovering the old? Really, how much new do we got to create? I don't think it's very much, to tell you the truth.
No, it's getting rid of these archaic institutions that they've built around us, these illusions, and starting to realize who we are again. Yeah. And that has incredible power when you realize who you are again. So it's
which is a gentleman there like our friend Michael Tellinger and the work he does, bringing the awareness and doing his gift, spreading that love around, like Peter is always saying here. That's that incredible thing that you can't measure it, you can't confine it, you can't. But yet it's possible to. It's just so capable, and it's so right in front of our face, but yet we still can't see it. For the most part, and then again, like Peter was saying with the nutrition nowadays and the cancers and the sprayings and all that stuff. I mean, it's just becoming so second nature. Like Peter was saying with some colleague earlier there about the next generation. When you have 8, 9, and 10-year-olds that are identifying problems that like adults don't have responses to, but kids see problems, doesn't that make us as mature individuals a little bit I don't feel too comfortable with kids suggesting that we are failing and they're seeing it and we're not. And
you're hitting the nail on the head on multiple levels. They don't want parents, the parents, go figure, they don't want mommy and daddy waking up to the facts and keeping their children off the poisons. I mean, Big Pharma and FDA has gone all out to push their swine, their swill, their shots, and they've been called out. They are so vetted on so many different levels. I mean, but as individuals responsible for our property, we're supposed to take care of it. But see, if the parents don't step in on behalf, this way, like I say, as a dad with 2 daughters, I had to do something, because I said I'm not going to let the world go by and let my children go into this next realm and leave the planet as I found it, because it's a real shithole and we got to fix it. It's freedom with responsibility, but the problem is the nefarious control freaks don't even want to let you be free and unencumbered. They don't even want to let you go. I mean, you know, 90% won't wake up. Well, they can play with that 90% for all I care. But I'm the other percent that I want to go do something else for the rest of my life. I'm not one of your slaves. I'm not a bond slave. I'm a man. And, you know, but everybody's got to take affirmative action on their own behalf. And I can't do it for anybody. I can't carry anybody's water to get them over the bridge. But we have all sorts of good things coming forward on the medical front, on the alternatives. It's all coming out of the speed of light. And dense nutrition grows with stackables now. Even if you have no property in your backyard, no dirt. You got Mike over at Natural News. He's brought the new technology forward. There's so much stuff that's coming out. And that's what's scaring the shit out of the nefarious ones, because, if they can grow their own food and they can make their own potable water, well, we can't hardly control them then. Well, see, that's pretty sick crap that you actually want to control somebody in the first place. So these clowns at the circus that think they're running something, they don't understand the bigness of the power of the people, the men and women who want to just go live life on purpose. And if you're going to try and encumber us, well, you know, it's so blatant in your face now. This is part of the wake-up call. And I said this 2 years ago. I says, you know what, people are going to have to go through a little bit more pain to get their wake-up call, because most people, until it directly affects them on their doorstep and they become a speed bump in life, they just sit back and my life's fine. Yeah, well, you know, when you're dying of cancer and then you're going to get chemo / cut and burn by the funneling of everybody into the money-making construct. I mean, 97% success rate of killing the vessel, that's genocide in my book, in any book on the planet.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people feel really like they have no power, they have no say in anything anymore, that their environment is completely beyond their control, and that's the powerlessness that they want people to feel. And we're trying to raise awareness and let people know that you don't have to be like us to get involved in this movement. You don't have to say, you know, I'm willing to risk my life, my reputation, all my money, my personal relationships to forward this movement. It's simple little things like just not supporting
Right.
status quo anymore. Quit spending your money and giving your money to these fucking corporations. And you know what? I'm sorry. I used to go to Starbucks a lot myself as well for a $5 latte. Stop. Just stop. Walmart. You know what? You may think that buying something from Walmart because it's cheap helps you, but that's only short term, because you don't see the long term market and economic implications of shopping at Walmart and the destruction it actually causes to the economy and everything else. It's just like people think, okay, well, I can't afford to eat a good quality organic apple, so I'm just going to take shit off the shelf. But they're not factoring in a lifetime of bad health and the medical bills from eating garbage. So you think that you're eating cheap food and you're saving yourself money. You're not, because you're going to spend 10 years in the hospital and you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on medical bills because you're not looking after your body by spending the extra 2 cents now on a proper banana, as opposed to a petrofarm piece of shit that has no nutritional value whatsoever. And it's no different with the truth movement, is that you may think that, you know, or to spend that extra minute going out of your way to try and find a local supplier or go to a local farmer or to do things right. You know what? Oh, I don't have time to do things right. I'm just going to cut a couple of corners right now and save myself a few minutes, and that's going to help me in the long run. No, that's why we're in this mess. It doesn't help you in the long run. That's why you're a slave.
Yes.
You lost your entire life by cutting corners thinking it was going to help you out. You lost everything.
They tricked everybody. They tricked everybody to faster, better, quicker. Oh, hey, I talk about this all the time. Look at Russia. They terminated microwave ovens in that country back in 1976. Most people don't know that, but in America, we brought them in fast and furious. No, there are no microwaves in Russia, because they know that when you cook that crap in the microwave, you're actually breaking it down and it becomes toxic to your body, and that's going to set up a toxic state. You become septic. So if you're eating ramen noodles and you're cooking them in the damn microwave, or Hot Pockets from Walmart, by the way, anything in a box, in a can, is not a food product. By the way, this is in America. Most people don't know this. 80% of our food supply, they spray on the inside of all the cans endocrine disrupting chemicals. And 90% of the, pretty much most of the masses don't have a clue. Not about 80% of the crap we got in America can't get out of this country to any other foreign country because they know it's garbage. But if people keep eating the same shit and they expect a different result, you know what? Freedom of the responsibility comes with self-sufficiency. So if you don't like eating crap, if you want to fix your machine, then you're going to have to change some things up. But that's what I like about the new technology coming up with the self-sufficiency for self-growing with stackables in your house. Even if you don't have any there's no more excuses. If you don't become self-sufficient, you're going to pay a lot for this muffler. Remember that Midas commercial back in the 70s? Yeah, well, if you don't do it, it's like here in Colorado. If you don't grow your own weed, you're going to spend $2,000 on a pound. You grow your own shit, it doesn't cost you nothing. It's just time and energy. So guess what? You're not going to pay a lot for this muffler when you can grow your own medicine and be self-sufficient. This is the type of stuff that I'm bringing forward. So I'm say, yeah.
This is why we started concentrating on divestment before I got arrested. And actually, the last day of the Hamilton conference, we spoke about divestment, which is divesting from them and investing in our own future. And I think that's what really pissed them off. Like I say, I got black bagged a half an hour after my own conference on a fake federal warrant that didn't exist. But they really don't like this concept. Yeah, I haven't had a microwave in 15 years. I won't allow them in my house. Another problem I usually tell people is that people used to call me and ask me for help, or they would watch our videos. And I used to start my videos with telling people, okay, if you still have cable TV, if you still have a cable TV package and you're paying $100 or $150 a month for cable TV, don't even watch my videos. Just stop. Because I'm competing with the television now. You're trying to get some knowledge, and then you're turning around, you're watching TV for 40 hours the next week, and we're going to lose in that battle because, life is trying to teach you things, and it's competing with the television. Shut that shit off.
It's a brain drain.
Package. All these poor people out there, oh, I can't afford to eat properly, but I spend $150 a month on a cable package or satellite. Are you fucking kidding me? No, turn that shit off. Quit investing into their system. Quit it. Stop it. All their advertising dollars, everything they get for TV, all the propaganda, all the TV programming they're getting is gone at that point, and that alone is going to help the fight. I can tell you right now, there's much more entertaining things out there when you stop watching TV for a month.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know. When you stop watching TV for a month, you don't want to watch TV anymore. You do go back and watch one of the programs you thought was entertaining, and it's stupid. It doesn't entertain you because you're like, oh, wait a minute. No, I've been missing this whole, my God, look what you have outside the window. And you're watching TV.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no greater soap opera than this one.
Yeah. I know. I haven't watched The Idiot Box in years, but you know what? Matter of fact, I posted a link on that, Dean, about 6 months ago. It's actually, high definition TV is actually called they got a patent number on it, and it's actually called a mind control machine. Go figure. And then your mind hack, by the way, high definition TV taps into your theta beta waves. It puts you in a proverbial trance. Most people don't know that though, because there's just garbage on there. There's nothing there for me. It's a brain drain. That's all it does. It'll suck the lifeblood. It's an energy vampire. By the way, also, and most people are unaware that if they're watching high def TV, they're watching you watch them. When you're watching your Idiot Box, they're watching you. So don't be having sex on your couch, people, because they can see you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a pretty boring guy.
I just saw someone sent me a link of now a man and woman can charge their iPhone from maybe it wasn't an iPhone, but it was one of the major manufacturers. Now you can charge your phone with your own body energy. Oh my God. So if you can perpetually keep that iPhone charged, do you think that they can suck a little extra out and maybe send that somewhere else?
Who knows? That's all they're doing right now. That's all they're doing right now is sucking our energy by getting us to invest everything that we do into their system.
Welcome to the that's why do you think they're having all these vampire and zombie movies? Because they're sucking your energy out of you. And I tried sharing this with my family members, and they just they love their Dancing with the Stars. And I understand entertainment, but let's entertain you. But look at sports industry and all this other stuff. Oh, it's my team. You're spending millions of dollars to make the owners piles of money, and you ain't getting nothing back but an empty wallet. You're subsidizing your own demise on everything else as well, like in the medical constructs. If they come and learn alternative medical protocols that I teach and I share great, simple information across the planet, but you're going to have to shut the Idiot Box off and actually read. But the problem is they get on these little texting devices, Dean. They got short attention spans. They've really decommissioned the brain to not be able to absorb and break down information. I can read page after page after page, and I can absorb what I actually read. Most people can't get past 2 sentences these days because they got them all on the clicker. I mean, I'm taking my power walks down the road. And you got people friggin' texting. I want to beat the bejesus out of them and say, shut up and hang up and drive, because you're a diversion. I don't want to be a hood or anything.
these people are detached from real life at this point. And people have to just kind of take the glasses off and go outside in the sun again and realize, oh man, there's a whole world out here. There's life. We can actually live, and we don't need this crap anymore.
Yep.
That's kind of what the whole divestment thing that we got planned is all about, is putting our energy to our own uses from now on, and just building. Like, come on, you try and tell me we can't build something better than what these people have devised for us? Like the hamster cage we're all in is actually pretty shitty. It's not very good. I think that's why people are addicted to TV, because their own lives are so shitty and so miserable. They need to escape their own life and live with the big brother or somebody else. Keeping up with the Kardashians. They want to feel like they're one of the Kardashians because their own life is so shitty that they can forget about it for 3-4 hours a night and watch what the Kardashians are doing, which is really, really sad and pathetic. It's actually quite terrible, because unfortunately I had to watch a lot of that while I was in jail, because there's nothing else to do except stare at a fucking wall. And when staring at a wall got so boring that I thought I might go insane, I finally had to watch a little bit of Keeping Kardashian with the guys. But we got to get away from all that. It's just it's nonsense. And people wonder why their family lives are so shitty. Their kids hate them. Everybody's got a TV in different rooms. Everybody playing game systems, and their kids hate them. And when you won't buy them the new video game system, they spit on you and tell you to fuck off and punch you in the face. And if you try to be strict, if you try to punish them, or you try to be
discipline
them, CFS is kicking your door and they're taking it, saying, hey, who are you to tell your kid they should go outside and play? You're depriving them of the right to play a video game and spit on you and smack you and tell you to fuck off. So it's just everything about this way of life is just, it has to end. It's not getting any better. It's just getting nothing but worse. People wonder why they're messed up in the head, why their families are messed up, why their kids are messed up, and they're sociopaths by the time they're 16 years old. It's absolute madness what's going on. It's just time to turn it all off. I mean, they tried to tell us that in 1976 there, the movie Network. It's great. I love watching that. It's madness. Turn this shit off. Just turn it off and educate yourself. Don't listen to any of these fools in the government or the FDA or any of these retarded and ridiculous institutions and pharmaceutical companies and doctors, pill pushing people. My brother and I can tell you right now, our mother was a victim of the pharmaceutical industry and 20 years of medication. And at one point, I think they had her on 20 different pills where she wasn't eating because she was on so many pills. Her stomach was already full before they finally killed her in the end. I think she's been gone for about 6 years now. And we tried talking to my father. We tried talking to her. They weren't willing to listen to anything that we did because their doctors know better. No, the doctors, man, they're keeping her alive. They're keeping her alive. And when I finally said to my dad one time, Dad, you know what? She's alive because of her own strong will. I said, they've been trying to kill her for 20 years now. They didn't keep her alive for 20 years. It took them 20 years to finally kill her and to make as much money off her as they could before it finally happened.
Well, here, let me share something with you, brother. Brother Ty is coming out with Quest for the Cure. Starts on the 30th of this month, a couple of days from now. I'll send you the link, and you'll want to watch the video. The first one starts out on how the medical mafia got set up and how this construct, the history lesson you never got in class. Ty Bollinger is stellar. He's got medical doctors that aren't in the game no more, getting off the dime and telling the truth. But yeah, see, we weren't in the land of allopathy at the turn of the century. It's when the Rockefellers and the construct got created so they could funnel the game, but most people are totally oblivious to it, and they put their power in some idiot who wears a white coat who couldn't find his ass with both hands. And I was a white coat, so guess what? I'm talking shit about myself.
Yeah, that's all right. That go right ahead. And man, I just had a point to say about that, and I can't remember now.
Telephone, hey, it's all good. Anyways, yeah.
But, one thing I will mention to people is keep in mind that a lot of mainstream sources, a lot of organizations out there, a lot of people are really trying to ridicule us and say how wrong we are, and they're trying to shut us up about all this information we're trying to get out there about law, proper health, alternative healing, alternative energy, alternative everything. We got this world out there we can do.
Yeah.
And my answer to that is, well, if we're so wrong and if we're so stupid, we're so crazy, why aren't they promoting that to make us look at how stupid these people are? They should be promoting what we're doing.
Right.
But they're not. They're trying to silence us. They're trying to stop us from getting any information out there, which is the opposite of what you would do if people were crazy and were legitimately misinformed cards who are going to send you astray. Look at how dumb these people are. Look, they gave this guy nothing but vitamin C and he for his cancer, and he died faster than the chemotherapy. No, because unfortunately, every time they're given these vitamin C therapies, they live.
Yep.
And the cancer goes away. So if we're so wrong, why are they not promoting our failures? Because there
Right.
aren't. And I'm so sick and fucking tired. I'm swearing a bit today. Of
It's all
people
right.
telling me that I'm wrong because I was in jail. Oh, well, he's wrong with his law concepts because look, he's in jail. He was right. He wouldn't be in jail. That's like me saying, you know what? I have the right to not be raped. But then somebody rapes me. And a guy comes along and says, see, I told you he was wrong because he got raped anyways. No, see, the problem isn't with me. The problem is with these fucking psychos that are running the courts and the governments and everything else who are going to throw us in jail no matter what, just to try to make us look wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to
See,
railroad, do everything they can to keep people in line. Just because something happens to you doesn't mean you're wrong. It means the rapist did it anyway.
right. Character assassination. That's what people do. I call it character assassination because you know what? They don't have any deductive reasoning skills to think, hey, I know people in jail. I have a friend of mine. She's East, and her sister got railroaded on a bad act and deed that her husband did, but he was in the Navy and they protected him, and she's doing 10 years on Maple Drive for an act he did. People, they can twist the shit. They can indict a bologna sandwich, and most people don't believe it. Hey, I've been a victim. You know, I hate to use the word victim, but Podunk, Louisiana. You know, on a Friday night, my car gets stuck in a ditch, and the boys were bored on a Friday night, population 1,700. But my wife was ignorant. If she never opened the door, they would have had no joinder. But she didn't know because she's a trusting soul. She doesn't realize that people actually have bad intent, and you're just a hypothecation event. Anyways, everybody gets stuck in a ditch once in a while in Louisiana. I mean, it's all, you know, swamp and whatever. And I said, no problem. I said, I'd walk 3 miles home. I said, I'll get it in the morning. I'll have my brother-in-law come pull me out with a chain, and everything will be good. No damaged property. But they're telling me there's $500 of damage to the ditch. I said, what are you guys on crack? How do you damage a damn ditch? See, that's how nefarious the scam is. So for you people who've not been on the receiving end of a bad act, you need to get your mind right and get you snapped into reality. And there was another time, because I didn't really want to sign the ticket, Brother Ken in Louisiana, state trooper, calls for a backup. So I got 2 guys with their hands on their guns. You're going to sign the ticket. Forced compliance at the end of a gun does not a valid contract make. But you know what? I signed it because I'm in fear of my life. See, so these people who are ignorant and have not been abused by the game have absolutely no concept of what really goes on in the world. And then on top of that, they're getting a bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, going behind closed doors, and they're making money and probating your estate, and they're making you, they got you coming and going. But, you know, people need to wise up. See, that was my reality check, Dean, when I got pulled on with guns to go ahead and sign a ticket. I said, something's very wrong with this picture. This is back in 2006. Long story short, I did turn the table a little bit on Ken. I said, you know, Ken, I said, what you're doing is, it's like rape. I said, this is emotional rape. I said, I'll tell you what, since you guys enjoy pulling your guns on people, I tell you what, why don't you let me borrow that gun and go to your house and point it to your wife's head and ask her if she's going to give me a blowjob or not, if it's voluntary or mandatory. Same difference. It's emotional rape. It's a psychological trauma when somebody pulls down and forces you to do something against your free will and you're not doing any harm.
No, and that's just it, is that, you know, like you can get up on camera for a number of years and say, you know what, hey, everybody, guess what? We were born free, and we are entitled to a much better life than what we have right now if we just learn our rights. And then you got guys on YouTube that when I get arrested and thrown in jail for nothing, I get black bag. They're on there saying, Dean's in jail. It's about fucking time. About time for what?
Right.
And telling people we're free, do no harm, and do what's right, and let's build a better place. Let's have a good life. And some guy says, you know, it's about time they threw that guy in prison. What are you talking about? Are you insane?
Let me tell you why they say that, Dean, because then they don't have to reflect upon their ignorant self, why they ain't doing nothing to get off their lazy, ignorant ass. So ignorance is bliss. And you know what? Apathy is a state of mind. And so they castigate somebody. I call it character assassination because they're losers inside and they know it because they can't even deal with their own shit because they hate their miserable life. So they'd rather throw mud balls at somebody else who's trying to make a difference. I call those armchair quarterbacks. I call them losers because they have no soul. They have no spirit. Their job is not to make their world a better place. Their job is just to throw crap at people because they got a miserable life. They're a miserable bastard.
Well, it's true. The people that get angry about this stuff and tell us how wrong we are usually the people that are too cowardly to stand up for themselves because they don't want to have to look in the mirror and say, man, you know what, that guy's standing up for himself. Why can't I do that? How come I'm too much of a coward to do that myself? And
Right.
but that doesn't, I don't want to, like, I'm not saying that to demean people out there who don't want to do what we've done, which is why I'm
Right.
saying you don't have to go to this. You don't have to do what we've done. We
No.
don't mind what we've done. We have accepted the fact that's who we are. We're going to be on the front line. We're going to take our hits. It's going to be risky. We're going to be damaged. We might get shot. We might go to jail. Okay, shit happens. I don't care about any of that. But you know what? Next time you go to the grocery store, do me a favor. Just walk around the outside where the fresh fruits and vegetables are and the meats and stuff like that. And at least start there. Quit buying box crap. Look
Yep.
after your own health. Don't go down the center aisles anymore. Just stick to the outside where all the fresh, you know, I even notice that when you walk into a grocery store, the fresh fruit, the meat, the breads, the vegetables, and a bakery, everything's around the outside of the store. And that's all the non-taxable items where they can't tax you because it's fresh fruit and it's fresh vegetables and it's fresh everything. Well, it's a grocery store, sorry. It's vegetables, fruits, and meat. We won't call them fresh because they're in those stores.
Yeah.
But little things like that supports this movement because then you're not buying the boxed puke that these massive corporations are making for you and your children to eat, that's making you sick and is going to make you die. Now, you don't just help me, you're helping yourself far more than you're ever going to help me by doing that, just in your own health alone. So start by doing things like that, or just spending your money with local suppliers, people who are growing fresh organic produce somewhere. Go like the guy I buy my beef off of. Before I went in jail, the last order of beef I took, I got 526 pounds of organic, free-range, wonderful Black Angus beef, hormone-free, vaccination-free, like you name it. It was free of all antibiotics.
Yep.
And 526 pounds, I paid $1,200 for it.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And how long until that's illegal and you will never find that, right? Isn't that their mandate?
Yeah, how much is hamburger in the grocery store right now? Like, what is it,
Yeah.
$5 a pound for just crap, regular?
Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't eat it.
I haven't been to the store since I got out. It's been 16 months, so I don't even know. But I was paying $2.50, a little bit less than that, for butchered, wrapped, frozen, delivered to my house beef, $2.50 a pound. I'm talking T-bone steaks, sirloins, you name it. Darren had some of it when he was at my house the summer before I got arrested. It was fantastic meat. When I served it to people, when I cooked it on my cast iron frying pan at low heat because I won't barbecue anymore.
Right.
When they tasted it, they said, "Oh my God, Dean, what did you marinate this in?" I said, "Nothing." That's how actual meat tastes.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it. So not only does the meat taste better, the quality is better, it's nutritious, and it's cheaper.
Yep.
So that's why you do this, for the health of your family and for the health. You know what? The more you support these corporations and these institutions, the more that they're going to enslave you. And the more sick you're going to be, the more you're going to be hospitalized, the more you're going to be put on medications that don't help you. You are going to be a sick slave for life if you don't at least do something. Just something. I don't care what it is. Do something.
Yeah, well, when I had Ty on, we were talking about the medical community creating new diseases, new modalities. So I guess Dean, you and I and your brother, we suffer from ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder, because we ain't going along to get along. And then they just created, only big pharma can create bullshit diseases that don't exist. And they have a new one now for those that want to eat right. I can't make this crap up. Something nervosa. Anyways, Ty knew what I was talking about. Even he couldn't believe it. I mean, what the hell's up with these clowns in the circus creating disease structures for not wanting to go along to get along to play this insane game? See, that's how they try and funnel everybody into it. But he's got ODD. Yeah, I got ODD, and I am proud of it. If that you want to put a label of a disease on me, but I won't be taking your medicines because I don't need them. But see, that's why when they run people in court and they think they're not of sound mind, they use that scam and put them in a straitjacket on a medical thingy where they'll say, for your safety, we're putting you in a straitjacket and all this other crap, and we're going to put you under observation for your own safety. It's a crock of crap.
Oh yeah, well, they were certainly concerned with my health when they locked me up for 16 months with no sunlight and fed me garbage and sodium-laden, preservative-loaded shit for 16 months in solitary confinement. Yeah, they did wonders for my fucking health in there.
Yeah.
They're certainly concerned with my well-being. That I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with your well-being. This has nothing to do with them wanting to help you. They don't care about you. They just want what's yours. They want your birthright.
Yeah, yep, you're a warehouse receipt, and we got the chattel property in the warehouse motel, and you're just I mean, well, hey, the upside is, like I say, it's all breaking apart, Dean. I mean, look at the IMF; they're losing their way. I think there's 26 other countries that are lining up with the BRICS, telling that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and they're eating a big crap sandwich out there. Control mechanisms is falling by the wayside. So what they got to do is they got to make victims out of the masses so they can continue the hypothecation scam. It just like in America when they let the 3.5 or 5.5 million Spanish folks in, and they just grandfather them in. They're going to give them what is that document they give them when they bring them in? It's not a birth certificate. It's
a welfare check.
Huh? What?
Welfare check.
No. But besides the welfare check, it's a document they give you so you can be a citizen slave. Anyways, they got 5.5 million new citizen slaves in America. They don't realize the carrot stick. They just got binded up on the plantation.
Look at all the benefits. Yep, and with the benefit comes the obligations. You have the benefit of having one of their characters in their little private world now, and people really need to understand what that means. That there actually is a fake make-believe world that exists over top of the real world. And as long as you recognize as that character that they give you, you exist in their alternate reality that exists right here. And people need to see that illusion. And we've been living in the illusion so long, we don't see it. We were born in the illusion. We grew up in the illusion. We live in the illusion. And that's why we don't see it. We don't see the legal illusion that is around us at all times. If you're perceived as that character, if you're deemed to be that character, if you're recognized as the character, you're in the movie.
Yeah.
That's it, period. And there is a script. And people really need to understand what that actually means. It's a bit of a mind fuck when you wake up and realize, oh my God, yeah, okay, I can actually see how they're getting away with all this now. But so we got to get away from all that. We got some bigger and better things we can do. Before I went in, we were starting to talk about the power of the social media. Peter, I haven't had time to look up the brick stuff yet since I've been out. It's been a week today that I've been out. I haven't had time to catch up on all the stuff that I feel like I'm so behind at this point. It's ridiculous. It's been 16 months and I've been getting my updates only through Darren, so they've been very limited in their scope as well. He's got stuff. Sit around all day long. They're pretty good, actually. I got to say that I didn't get the chance to speak to many people, so Darren usually got 5-6 phone calls a day for me in jail there, just so I could kind of keep a tenuous grasp on my humanity, my sanity while I was in there, so to speak. But man, before we were going in, we were starting to talk about like the mass media movement, how many people can be reached through mass media now. There was a Monsanto protest that were going on where they're getting 1 million people to go protest, and I was trying to redirect everybody and say, hey, listen, get out of character. Get out of the movie, quit protesting, quit trying to get the government to change the laws to force Monsanto to grow your own food. If we can get 1 million people together to protest Monsanto, and instead of wasting a whole day, the money it took to drive wherever they went, the money they spent on fast food whenever they got where they were going, or their Starbucks lattes, the money they spent on building signs and putting signs together to, no GMOs, no GMOs. If those 1 million people each spent about $100 each on missing work, spending money on corporations and food all that day, instead of protesting, they could have pooled their money together. 1 million people could have put $100 each together, and they could have put together a fund, and they could start buying up farms around the continental United States and in Canada, and they could just start growing their own friggin' food. And fuck Monsanto.
Yep, I know. They're well, hey, let me enlighten you a little bit on Monsanto, what they've done since you've been in. Okay, see, I cover everything. Man, all I got to do is go to my Facebook pages, brother. I post shit in real time, faster than you could say yippee skippy. I mean, I'm bringing this stuff. Okay, let's take a look at this. Were you aware that all the GMO foods in America now, because they're so resistant to, because of all the chemicals that Monsanto's make, and using the GMOs, they actually, their food products are now resistant to what they're fixing to put on them now, and they just authorized that to spray them with freaking Agent Orange. I can't make this crap up. So now you're not only getting GMO foods, you're getting chemically compromised GMO foods with Agent Orange in it. Now let's talk about this cannabis issue. Brother, I cover everything. Yeah, I'm in all these portals. Okay, the cannabis thing. Monsanto just climbed to bed with Uruguay to grow GMO friggin' pot, so they can bring it up to the dispensaries in America, so all these numbskulls can smoke GMO weed that ain't gonna have any medicinal qualities. That's why I'm trying to teach people to wake up and become self-sufficient, grow your own. Brother, I got master growers across the country. If we clone our own shit, they can kiss our rosy red ass, and we can grow it all we want here. So, if people, you're gonna pay a lot for this muffler if you don't become self-sufficient. It's gonna cost you in a whole different way that you're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel on. See, they can't see that far down. They see people are stuck in instant gratification land. But hey, let's get back to the cannabis going to be compromised. I got a link I'll send you on that to show proof on that. But let's look at Russia. Everybody
let's
gets.
talk about the Agent Orange thing for a quick sec. Actually, I'm going to mention that before I even went in, and this is striking a chord with me. A year leading up to before I went in, when I came up with the divestment thing, was because I actually already read up on the fact that Monsanto was going to start, they were going to stop selling Roundup, and they were going to start selling Agent Orange under a new name, because the Roundup resistant weeds had started popping up with such regularity and in such force around the United States countries that they had to come up with something stronger to kill these weeds. Like pigweed. There's a new mutant strain of pigweed out there that was growing 8 feet tall, and it had a stalkable 2 inches thick that was destroying farm equipment. And that's a result of the Roundup that they were using. So when it became resistant, it mutated, it became something Roundup couldn't kill, it thrived, and now they want to start spraying crops with Agent Orange. That is fact, apparently. That was fact before I got arrested. Apparently that's actually happening now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is why Mother Nature is people need to pay attention to what's going on with Mother Nature. The reason why these pigweed are mutating and are growing anyways is that Mother Earth is trying to provide us with what we need.
Yeah.
Pigweed, people also call lamb's quarters, and I think there's another couple of different names for it, is not a weed at all. And Darren knows this because I grew a bunch at the front of my house when he was living with me for a couple months helping with construction before I got arrested. And I was growing a whole shitload of pigweed in one of my front flower beds because I'd come home from work and it was a living salad. I would just walk along and pick all the leaves off this pigweed plant. They were 5-6 feet high, and it was just a living salad bar. And I'd walk down my front yard picking all the leaves. I'd get a handful of them, and I'd just start eating them and munching them and taking the rest into my house to put in a salad. And of course, all my neighbors think I'm nuts anyways, because I'm always out in my front yard cutting the dandelions out of the grass and potting them, and then taking the pots into my house to grow them. So I've got dandelion root and dandelions, right? So they don't think I'm anyways. And so now they see me eating weeds out of my front yard when I come home from work at the end of the day. But these pigweed, that plant, is more nutritious for you than spinach.
Wow.
It's higher in iron, and it has every essential mineral and vitamin you could possibly ask for. When you eat it raw in a salad, it tastes great if it's been grown organically. It actually has almost a meaty taste to the leaves. It's amazing for you. And that's why they're trying to kill things like that, right? So here we are in North America spraying entire fields, all of our land with Roundup to kill things like pigweed so that we can grow wheat, which human beings are not supposed to consume in the first place.
Right.
Killing us. So we are actually trying to kill pigweed to grow wheat. And Mother Nature is saying, no, fuck you. Pigweed, here, this is a good thing for you, right? So we got to start paying attention to this kind of stuff. So that's what they're trying to do. They want, it's just, again, it's insane, but yeah, so.
It is, and I understand about the dandelions. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you a link, Natural News. Man, they always said dandelion tea, and my wife, she got a link, and she got all excited about it. Well, my ex, anyways. Anyways, see, there's so much good stuff coming forward. So all we got to do is get the children to wake up and become adults and start looking, instead of take off those rose crucian colored glasses and start looking just beyond the bow. And I mean, it's being posted in real time.
And they're starting. Have you seen that new video? It's one of the kids. Seriously, the second day I was out, somebody sent me a link to a video called New McDonald's Farm. And there was about 500,000 views on it. And it was some kids that did a school play. And it was obviously like the commercial, the way it was done, where they were doing the old McDonald's farm play. And then all of a sudden, they started injecting the kids dressed up as cows. They came out with big needles pretending to inject them full of shit. And then all of a sudden other kids came out wearing full body, chemical suits and spraying all the crops, and all this shit happened. And all the kids started screaming, running off the stage because it just became like this chemical nightmare. And then so that ended, and then it started up again right away with all the kids. All of a sudden, they called it New McDonald's Farm, and they had free range cattle and crops they were growing that were GMO free and no chemicals, no anything. And I'm watching this going, holy shit. Okay, so the next generation gets it at least, and that's why we really got to concentrate on making sure that these people do not fuck up the next generation.
Yeah.
They're getting it, and they're starting to figure things out. I talked to a 14-year-old kid the other day that knew we're talking about how they don't want to eat GMO foods. And I said, where did you even get that name from? Why do you even know what GMO is? Oh, I researched it online, and yeah, I don't want to eat that garbage. I want to make sure I'm eating healthy food. I just went, holy crap, like that's great. So it is happening, and we just have to really push that home with people and make sure this next generation knows the scam, the legal scam, as well as the pharmaceutical scam, as well as the food scam, the Monsanto scam. Just waking everybody up, and the internet is where it's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, Michael, my webmaster just posted on pigweed equals amaranth, which is very healthy for you. You gotta go figure. Amaranth. That's the actual name for it outside of pigweed. Amaranth.
There you go. And that name sounds more familiar. I think you even hear amaranth sometimes when you're talking. Herbalists and stuff like that are saying, "Oh, you're sick. You've got this. Amaranth." I know that name has come up before.
Yep.
So just like dandelions, something they're trying to tell you should kill with Roundup on your front yard because it's a blemish to your beautiful green yard. They're trying to tell you that pigweed it's a weed. Oh, it's a weed. Weeds are bad. You don't want that. Okay, well now we know it's amaranth, and it's actually very good for you. I didn't even know it was amaranth. I looked up lamb's quarter, and it came up as being something healthier for you than spinach. So I started growing it and eating it. Same thing.
Yeah. Go figure. Cannabis is a weed. Yeah, cannabis is a weed too, and they try to kill it like since 1937, right?
Yeah.
And it's got all these. Hey, Dean, let me cover that for a second on the cannabis thing. The studies are in. I have the 121 National Institute of Health studies proving that cannabis cures pretty much every cancer on the planet. Anybody wants to know and see some truth, I have the actual links over on my International Cannabis Patients Wall. You can download that in, go over to my house, and go scroll on down and go take a look at the 121 National Institute of Health studies. See, they've been studying on this, and they hid the studies on what cannabis can effectively annihilate, because it creates apoptosis to those cells, and that's why I like the paste. The paste is you don't have to throw out your whole pound after you wash it. If you want to get some oil, you wash your pound, get your 60 grams, because if you got skin cancer or something like that, that oil's perfect for it. But if you just want to restructure the body and get them back from the radiation annihilation protocols, matter of fact, over at the Living Herbal Farms, this guy that I'm talking about, the liposomal C, he's got all these different adjuncts that are so, I'll be sharing that. Matter of fact, I'm going to get him on the show because I need to bring him forward because he is doing some beautiful work. He shows videos how to make your own liposomal C. By the way, they tanked those studies from Linus Pauling, and they hid those. Linus Pauling brought forward and Rick Simpson was even talking about this. But I'm going to teach the world how to make paste. It's so damn simple. I got a 19-minute video. I'll show it. And I'm telling you, people got to quit asking for freaking permission. That's the problem with the whole planet. Everybody's waiting for a permission slip. This legalization bullshit is just another control construct, and they're controlling both sides of the coin. Now you got Monsanto climbing to bed with Uruguay so they can bring this poisonous GMO compromised weed to the dispensaries. Because guess what? These dispensaries are all 501c corporate whores, and they're going to be told what to do because you're under the state.
This is all monopoly protection. Why is it that marijuana has become okay once them and their corporations start growing it? No, you can't do that. Oh, that's illegal. Oh, wait a minute. It's only our corporations doing it now? Okay, now it's perfectly fine. Oh, whiskey? Oh, no. You can't make that shit and drink it yourself, but it's okay if you're buying it from one of our corporations where it's heavily taxed.
There you go.
Okay, because not many people are growing tobacco. You have to get your cigarettes from us. All this shit that they try to tell us we can't do suddenly becomes okay when we buy it from one of their fucking corporations. And that's what pisses me off. I get very animated about this stuff, and I get very pissed off because of how hypocritical this system is, where everything is illegal until they provide it for us and they profit off us, and then it's okay. And that really fucking makes me mad because it proves how bullshit this system is.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm glad people are hearing this. By the way, I have a still. I have my own countertop unit. Brother, I'll make you some apple pie moonshine, brother. I know how to make the shit, and I just plug it in. It's an appliance, brother. I know how to make ethanol. I know how to wash the weed. I know how to make the oil, the tincture. I got to play for the last 6 months on learning these constructs so I could teach it to other people, because I want to teach self-sufficiency. Like that magical butter machine I was telling you, you can make your own tincture in 8 hours instead of 3 to 4 weeks.
Good. That's, yeah. And I now that I'm out, I got to get going on all this kind of stuff. I got a big shop at my house, and so there's all sorts of stuff that I want to do. Yeah, but I mean, and that's if you want to drink alcohol, even, which I mean,
Right.
for the most part, it's not even all that good for you. So
No.
I mean, a glass of red wine, okay, make yourself red wine at home. But the whole point here is to better ourselves, and we don't need things like alcohol. Once you start studying, once life turns out to be a good thing and you enjoy it, you don't need the escape anymore. You don't need TV. You don't need alcohol.
Right.
I've been out for a week. You think the first thing I would do would be, oh, everybody, oh man, I'm out of jail. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to get so pissed. You know, it's the number one thing I used to hear from people that were getting out. You know, like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get out tonight. My buddy's already bought me a Texas Mickey of vodka or something stupid. And it's like, what are you doing? So,
Yeah.
you know, I went for a beer and some hot wings because I had to wait to be picked up anyways. And it kind of was like, I didn't even enjoy the beer. I was just like,
Yeah.
whatever. To be honest with you, I should have got a cran soda. I haven't had another one since. It's been a week now that I've been out. The chicken wings were nice because I hadn't
Yeah.
eaten them like that. But to be honest with you, it was nicer to get where I'm at right now. I'm at a friend's farm. I'm chilling out. We got farm fresh eggs. We got all stuff going on here. We're actually hatching some chickens right now because they're gifting me some chickens to get my own farm up and going this spring. I'm helping out around here. Not so much yet. It actually took me. It's been a bit of an interesting time, just getting reacclimatized and getting used to stimulation again after spending 16 months locked in a small room. But
Yeah.
so it's going to be back to work here right away and helping building stuff around here. But no, man, there's so much good things to go out and do in life. You don't need their crap. You don't need any of it.
Hey, I got these mountains. I get to go do these power walks. I mean, they're huge mountains. Or I'm in Grand Junction. It's huge. It's really nice. And I get to do these power walks, and I get to see forever. I can see the horizon when they're not chemtrailing the crap out of my skies. But it's there's always something to do. I mean, you don't have to be stuck in negative reinforcement. But the reason I know how to make the ethanol is because I was learning the oil making process for Rick Simpson, and then I find out that because of the high burn rate, the burn to get the ethanol out, the higher heat actually burns off 90% of the effective terpenes. Not to say that the oil still doesn't work. It does. It has major medicinal capacities. But when you slow,
better.
What's that?
But it can be better.
Right. And so this is where I go, Dean. You know, somebody's always going to create something better, more effective. Let's take a look at the cannabis paste. It's been around for thousands of years. It's what the Egyptians, they take 9 pounds, put it in a clay pot, put some special oil in there, and then let it sit out in the sun for about 5 days, and it emulsifies, bringing forward the THC, CBD, and the terpenes, allowing an effective medicine to be created. And they didn't make the oil back then that day. If they did, they were actually making the paste. And that's that's why I'm always keeping my eyes open to better, quicker, faster, easier. And so, because everyone wants the oil, screw the oil. Man, you can make the paste. You can go score a half an ounce and cook up that batch in one day, and you've got a 30-day supply of medicine. And it's
Peter, all these doctors that have invested millions of dollars in cancer equipment and MRIs and all this other stuff. What are they going to do if you started curing your own cancer? We can't allow that. They've invested all this money.
Oh yeah,
bullshit that kills 98% of the people that do it. What are they going to do?
Well, they need to go find something else functional to do with their lives instead of destroying others with their bad acting and their bad game. Hey, I was in the medical modalities, but even when I was in the medical field, Dean, I always was looking for the alternative. So I was sort of outside the box, even though I was inside the box. So because I've always been reading and educating myself on alternative medical capacities, even as a kid. So, you know what? Yeah, they should have put these hospitals. We'll make them. Well, we got millions and millions of homeless, so we can turn them out so people got a place to lay their head. You know, because that's all this is about, is building, is paying for this friggin' building, and it's insane. And so we've got to make victims. Literally, they got to make victims out of millions of people, and they're killing approximately. You got 1,600 people a day dying for the cancer lie.
Yep, I'm telling everybody out there right now, until you've eaten real, organic, free-range, hormone-free beef, you have not ever eaten meat. until
Nope.
you've eaten a real egg, a real farm fresh, antibiotic free egg from a real chicken that's not cramped in a little cage and fed crap. You have not eaten a real egg. And
Yep.
the rest of life is just the same. If you're not living real life, you're not living. So what's the point of even being around? Everything becomes that much better when you really start living. Just like eating real food for once. You eat something that's really been organically grown. And I don't mean one of the 20 requirements to be labeled organic under USDA labeling. Oh, we did one of the 20 things required to make it organic, so it's deemed organic. That's not organic. When you buy something that's grown in living soil, you won't believe the difference in the taste of that food. Now, I did an experiment with this before I got arrested, and it's easy to do in my beach house. I grow, you wouldn't believe my tomato plants and pepper plants I grow on my deck at my beach house. Darren saw it. It was ridiculous. You couldn't eat the tomatoes. It was sick.
Wow.
And I just started getting into vermicomposting. So I had bins of worms at my house where I had real living soil, where all my organic matter was going into the bins. The worms would eat it all, and you had real living soil. And I was growing tomato plants in that. And the first time I ever had a ripe cherry tomato from one of those plants that I was growing in living soil, I couldn't believe it, because I've never liked tomatoes my entire life. My parents couldn't force me to eat them. They're bland, they're tasteless, they're disgusting. There's nothing to them. But when I had that cherry tomato, I think Darren was even out on the deck that day. I just turned around and went, holy shit. I said, I fucking love this.
Yep.
Like, it was food. My body just went, wow, I don't know what you just ate, but it was great.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, there's no question in my mind now of the difference between eating something that was grown in living soil as opposed to something that was grown in dirt with fertilizers.
Right, right. But anyways, I'm going to turn you on to we don't even need dirt. Matter of fact, most of the dirt across the planet's been eroded. Yeah, unless you can, like you say, pre-created, use worms to revitalize it and whatever. But yeah, because they've the way they grow is insane. They don't even know how to grow. They don't know how to rotate crops. They don't know our whole system is so ass backwards, and it's eroded all. So there's no magnesium. That's why everybody's magnesium deficient across the planet. And if you're magnesium deficient, guess what? Your body can't uptake dense nutrition neither.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the thing. Instead of watching TV every night, the $1,000 you spent on that TV, buy some equipment and start growing your own food in your own home. And you can spend a couple hours a night talking to your plants and enjoying life. And your kids will learn from it. Like it's just a better life all around when you start doing this stuff for yourself and quit relying on other people. You can't grow all the food yourself unless you got a garden. But man, if you have like little systems in place, like a little aquaponics thing in your house, or just some tables with some food growing in it, lettuce and stuff like that, watercress. When you start growing your own lettuce and watercress and other little vegetables that actually regrow so fast, you can have a salad every night and it's already regrown by the next day. You can do it in your own house, and at least you're getting more nutrition than you would previously. And like I said, you don't need a TV. One of my favorite things to do was in my front sunroom was sit and read a book on all the tables I had my plants growing on.
Yeah, matter of fact, I got some non-GMO seeds coming from California from a friend, and I got a friend around the corner, and I'm going to plant a boatload of tomatoes. I want some damn non-GMO tomatoes, because the cardboard shit, I won't even buy it. I won't even touch the crap at the store. By the way, a friend of mine worked in that industry, and they actually gas the tomatoes to turn them red, but they're really truly green. That's why they are hard and they taste like cardboard and have no flavor.
Yeah, no, it's garbage. I couldn't believe the difference between having a real tomato and the stuff you normally buy from the store. Even the stuff you think is organic, like the tomato on a vine you buy, there's like 5 of them. They look really good. They're all the exact, precise, same size and shape. You almost think they're cloned.
Yeah.
And they're tasteless compared to a real tomato. So there is a better way to live, and it just improves the quality of your life. That's one thing that people need to realize. It's not just about living. It's about quality of life.
Yep.
You have to have that quality of life. Otherwise, your life becomes so awful. You need to escape it through TV or something else, so you're not thinking about how much it sucks. And it's easy. It's the easiest thing in the world, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, if you
go ahead, Darren.
Consider when you're talking about the quality there, Dean, you've got to keep in mind here massive action, nurturing it, watching it grow. Parents can test, the mother can definitely test, and the humans, right? A man or a living being get nurture us. At the end of the day, you feel satisfied. You don't have to go search out another thing because you just did it. You know, what's satisfying at McDonald's and eating their Big Mac? What's satisfying there? You know, really, there's nothing. Growing your own, harvesting, the nurturing pro. Look at how. Look to the spirit. The spirit that is so critical for every.
Anyways, you break it up, brother. It says my bandwidth is low, but you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up very badly through most of that. But I think what Darren was talking about is the sense of accomplishment you feel at doing something like that as well, like a personal satisfaction. You've done something that was, you know, of quality, something that improved your life, and it is satisfying to do something for yourself for once. And you do feel a sense of accomplishment when you do something like that. You're like, wow, like look what I was able to do. You know, just like when you're a little kid again, and you're like, wow, you know, look what I was able to do. We can still experience those moments as adults because we don't do anything for ourselves anymore. And you all think you're useless and powerless, you can't do anything, and it really is this easy. I mean, how many of these yuppies that live in these suburbs of the cities spend hours and hours a weekend on their lawn making the perfect lawn? It's perfectly green. It doesn't have any dandelions. It's the perfect height. Everything about it is perfect. Well, why can't you put that same energy into a garden?
Right.
I feel the accomplishment of having a garden instead of a perfectly manicured, useless lawn.
Yep. Anyways, hey, back to the amaranth. Michael posted me this. He goes, yeah, the Aztecs used to grow it. Palmer amaranth. Amaranth is the one that breaks the tractors. You can even eat the seeds. I said, we'll send Dean some good amaranth seeds. Michael, brother Michael from my website. So people actually, I'll get you squared away, brother. But let me go back to Russia for 1 second because most people are unaware of this. They all get 1 acre of land to grow their non-GMO food. I bet you didn't know that neither.
I do after reading all the Anastasia books while I was in jail.
The
Dachniks, I think they're called, or something like that. I don't know how to produce it properly, but more than 70% of Russia's produce and food is grown from these people that have, I think it's like 5 hectares. 5 hectares of land. Anybody that wants 5 hectares of land in Russia is given the land to work it.
right.
They all go out and they grow their own food, organic food, you name it, and not more than 70% of Russia's food is produced on these 5 hectare plots that every family is given to grow food, and the number is climbing. They have no agriculture industry in Russia. All their food is grown privately on little 5 hectare chunks of land.
Yeah, but Americans have gotten fat, the lazy and spoiled. The quickie meals, you got McDonald's, and they're killing themselves, they're poisoning themselves, and then they wonder why their machines don't work. And then they go to some white coat who gives them some more poison to really compromise the body. I mean, it's a lose-lose proposition to stay on this insane train.
Oh, can you imagine how insane that is? Oh, you're sick because you're nutrient deficient from eating garbage. Here's some pills that will get rid of the symptom. That's
right,
all
then,
the symptoms. Here, take, I got a headache, so take something that masks the pain of the headache. That's all their medicines do. When you get sick from eating crap and you go to the doctor, they give you a pill that helps alleviate the symptoms, but then causes other symptoms. So then they have a pill for that. It is fucking ludicrous and it's insane. And I can't believe that people just keep on that hamster wheel thinking that they're going to get somewhere.
Yeah. Anyways, Brother Dean, I thank you for taking this nice ride. We did say a mouthful today. I'll be posting this far and wide for mass consumption. Brother Darren, I'm sorry that he's just sort of like a bystander for the most part. It was like the Peter and Dean rant here. But brother, I mean, there's so many issues and topics that we cover. And this is, like I said, we now have a new portal on the planet called CCN to share the truth on a worldwide stage. So we're not laying down no more, brother.
Well, I agree. I'm not going anywhere, and black bagging me didn't work. I'm not going to be silent. I wasn't even out for 2 days, and I was back on the internet. I have no intention of laying low and going away. I am going to be a constant source of irritation for these people until the day they leave me alone, or I'm dead. One of the two is going to happen. If there's anything I'm certain of in this lifetime, one of those two things is going to happen. They are either going to leave me the fuck alone, or I'm going to have to die. But it's going to be one of the two. And I'm going to die anyways. So If my last act is to be, or near irritation is to be a rash on their ass, then I'm okay with that.
Well, that's all right. It's going to multiply because, yeah, Canada's waking up pretty big too. So you know what? They're not going to be able to put the poop back in the elephant, as I always say. You ever try putting the poop back in the elephant? It doesn't work really well.
No.
This thing is cracking everywhere. There's so many cracks in the dike. They don't have enough thumbs, and there's so many lies that are being upended at the speed of light. And thank goodness for CCN and Biggie and Melanie bringing this portal, this stage to the planet. And I'm sure we'll be back again, Dean, for another fun ride.
Thanks to everybody out there for getting involved, the people that do care about their rights and their health and having a better quality of life. Thanks to everybody who's getting involved and is not being scared off by these people, because it's working. It's having an effect. Don't give up. More people are getting motivated. I can tell you right now, in the 15 years of doing this, I've never seen the amount of interest in this topic. And even since I've been in jail, it's increased more than tenfold. It was so refreshing to come out to see the amount of activity happening in the truth movement and every other movement around the world. It's great, and it made the 16 months I spent in jail worth it.
Yep.
I felt vindicated by that.
Yep. But we're not going against anybody. All we're doing is bringing forth the truth. And if the nefarious control freaks can't deal with it, too bad.
Yep. Sucks to be you.
You know what? I tell them to go look at themselves in the mirror. See, I know I have these, what do you call? I call them sandwich eaters listening to my calls. And I say, don't you people have anything better to do with your lives? Because I know they're listening. And I said, and I know when they're listening because my phone will drop before I try and get through on a call. They do this a lot to me. And I say, why don't you go look in the mirror and see what you see looking back? You must be a soulless entity to be bothering with some little guy named Peter. And I'm just sharing the love.
Yep, good. Waste all your energy trying to spy on me to figure out the nothing that I'm doing. Okay, Dean, the contractor from Winnipeg, Manitoba. If Canada and CSIS really feels the need to spend this amount of their resources on trying to shut me up and take me down, when all I am is a guy from Winnipeg who knows a little bit about something, just goes online just to let people know I'm not afraid of these guys no more. Hey, everybody, we need to do something about this. That's pathetic that they feel the need to spend that much resources, time, energy, and money trying to take a guy like me down. Because there's nothing more like me. I'm nothing special. I'm nothing out of the ordinary. Everybody can do this. Everybody needs to do this.
Yeah. Anyways, Darren, short note. There you go.
Closing statement. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's this is all, and like Dean said earlier, the social media.
You keep getting binded up. I guess having three in here is the bandwidth gets fractured.
Yeah, well, not a big deal. But we'll come back, and I hope I get caught up enough by next time to know more about what's going on with the truth movement. Like I say, I'm a little behind in the times here, and a lot of people have really excelled in everything that's going on since I've been away. So I feel like I'm playing a bit of a game of catch up now. Yeah, well, you're in the right portal. I will put you on the supersonic track. So, no, that's good. That sounds awesome. But so thanks for having me on, and hopefully we'll make it happen. Darren, thank you, folks. We love you. I'll catch you on Tuesday with my hemp textiles queen, Barbara. You're gonna want to hear what she's got to share coming up. Thank you, Dean. Love you, brother. Love you, brother Darren. We'll catch you guys on the rebound. Thank you, Biggie. Have a great day.